Hi, my name is Div Harish. I want to thank you for purchasing the StockVUE demo kit, and I want to take a minute to show you how to set it up. So come, let's take a look and see all the different pieces that are part of the package and how to set it up. Your package should have the scales, interface devices, power adapters and cables to set up the StockVUE demo. Remove all the items and place them on a table for easy access, and let's start assembling the solution. Remove the scales and place them on the table. Let's take a look at one. So this this is the front of the scale and this is the back of the scale. At the back of the scale there's a mini B USB port. We would take the little cable that we sent with this and connect this guy into the scale. And the other end of it, you can take the 7-port USB hub and just plug it in there. And then you do the same with all the other 7 scales or 6 scales or 5 scales, whatever came with the package. And then once you have this set, you would connect the output cable. Then use the provided power adapter to power the USB hub. Now connect all the scales into the USB hub and then connect the output cable to the PC's USB port. So the USB hub has only 7 ports. So if you're just using 5 or 6 scales, 7 scales, and you want to go locally to do a demonstration in a conference room or something like that, it's much faster, quicker and easier to just use the USB hub. But in reality, in the actual field, when you need to go, do a whole room full with hundreds or thousands of scales, we should use the USB and the wireless router that we supply, the SC1200Z, which has 12 ports and it has a wireless module built into it. And then that works with one receiver that you would connect to your PC in order to receive data from all connected routers. But it's going to be a little bit slower than the USB hub. So for a quick demo, the hub is best, but for actual demonstration of how the system would work, it's best to use the router. So you would take a scale, connect one end of the cable into the scale, and the other end of the cable you just connect it to one of the available 12 ports on the router. So once you connect all the 12 scales, you just have to power up the router with the provided adapter. The final step is to connect the wireless receiver into the USB port of the PC. And at this point, this receiver will be able to talk to all the connected scales through the wireless routers. And at this point, you can turn on the power to all the routers and proceed to the software setup. At this point, the hardware setup is complete. Let's start with the software. So you first go to the StockVUE portal in the cloud using any browser, Chrome or Internet Explorer or Edge, any of those will work. And then you use the ID and password that we provided to you and just log in. And once you log in, you will see pretty much a blank screen here initially, and the first thing you got to do is go to parts and add part. So let's say you have 5 parts that you want to add. You would come here and fill in these forms and add one part at a time. So let's set up the first one. Let's call it hint 001. Let's say the customer's SKU is hint 999. Manufacturer's SKU is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is the hint bottled water. And the per bottle weight is 1.1366 pounds. So you may need to weigh this separately, or you can use our StockVUE client program to actually weigh the bottles. I'll show you when we do the StockVUE client, but let's assume you have the weight of the bottle for now and just come and enter that information here. Now, this comes in a case of 24, so let's say the max quantity we want to keep is a case 24, and we're going to count this individually. So there are 24 bottles, and we'll say that if it goes below 10, we want to know about it. But if it goes below 5 bottles, it becomes critical and we want to send somebody an email or an SMS message. So, so far so good. And then you can actually keep track of the value of the inventory you have and how much you've sold and that kind of stuff by putting in the cost per bottle and the sale price per bottle. So let's see, you make $1 profit every time you sell a bottle of water. And you can put in your internal notes if you want. If you have a picture of an image of your product, you can upload it here. And once you enter all this stuff, you can just say save. So at this point you have the parts, and let's say you put in one by one all the 5 parts. Once you enter all the parts, next thing you do is add scales. So you go under the menu and say add scales. Then one by one you type in the scale ID and the capacity of the scales that we've shipped to you, and then add it one by one. Once you're done adding, then we go to the next step. The next thing you got to do is you got to go to scales and assign parts to scale. So you'll come up with a screen like this where you will see all the scales that are currently connected to your computer. So it'll identify all the scales by the ID, and you just have to come here and assign what you're placing on that scale. So for example, on this large 50 kilogram 110 pound scale, we will say we're going to put the hint bottled water. So you just go and assign which items you're putting on each scale and then say okay. At this point you're ready to go. And then what we want to do next is, if you click on inventory by parts, you will see how many items you have of each kind on the scales. And you can say inventory by scales to see it by scale number, the quantity, weight, and so forth. So that's how you would look at it. But before we are ready to do that, we got to do one more step now. So we're going to go and start the StockVUE client now. Okay. So let me stop here and open the StockVUE client. So we're going to start StockVUE client now. So this client program resides on the one PC in your inventory storage area, and it'll connect to all the connected all the routers, the wireless routers that are being used in that particular region. Now it is going around and trying to find all the connected scales. So in this case we have 4 scales that are connected via USB. So that's why you'll see all of these scales that are connected here. It found them and it shows how much weight is on there. So right now this is the scale on which we're going to place the hint water bottles. It's pretty close to 0, but in order to tear it or zero it out, you just go here and right click on it and 0 it. So make sure there's nothing on the scale and then you 0 it. And once you 0 it, then you can go place the water bottles on it. So we're going out now to place the water bottles. And then we have this button for the summary view. And when you do that, you will see all, it'll go and fetch the information about the products, all the products that you're defined in your in the StockVUE cloud application, downloads it, downloads all the weight information, and then computes the quantity and shows it to you instantly. So you can see right now we just placed 4 water bottles there. Now 5, now 6. and so on. So it shows you instantly how many bottles there are in the StockVUE client. So now if you go back to your StockVUE cloud application, in your browser, you'll see that we placed 6 water bottles on that scale, and now we can see that there's 6 up in the cloud as well. And if this is a little bit behind, you can say poll now, and it'll go and give a command to go and query all the scales to get the latest information. And then it'll refresh this page every time it gets updated. So once everything is set up, you should see all the parts. You can go to inventory by parts, and it'll show you the current quantity in stock. All your maximum critical information is here for each item. Here in the status, if it is below the critical level, you'll see this red status flag. If it's between minimum and critical, you'll see yellow, and if it is above the minimum, then you'll see green. So everything is okay with those. This shows you the last poll when all the inventory was queried. You can click on these buttons here to just see the critical and low parts, or just the critical parts. So you can quickly get to the parts that need some attention. You can go under administration and set up new users who should receive either the system alerts or the inventory status emails. The system alerts are when something is wrong, the scales are not working right, or internet is down, stuff like that. And this inventory status email is when parts are low or critical, and those kinds of alerts. So you can set up whoever should get those emails and how often people in this list should get those emails. We can send out inventory reports, for example, every morning at 8 a.m. So that people who are responsible for the inventory, when they come into work, they have a latest up-to-date information on it. So that's how you can set up the whole system and use it in your own place of use, and try out our StockVUE solution for managing your inventory. If you have additional questions or need help, please call us at 510-274-1872 or email us at support@loadstarsensors.com. Thank you.